Okay, who would like to volunteer to read the morning message? I'm going to have a lot of volunteers for this one. You ready? Can you all see clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Morning message. Good morning. Today we will eat together, have snack, and work on activities. This afternoon we will have book time, gym, and story and writing. Let's have a great day.
Excellent reading. Who thinks they have already memorized the March poem? Close your eyes.
It was a big, big transition to go from an alternative school to the regular stream. It was a huge shock. I mourned DAS for a year. I thought I'd made a really huge mistake. I felt like a fish out of water. But slowly I've managed to integrate. But I think I feel really fortunate that that was the foundation of my teaching career. I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot about children. I learned a lot about parents. I had fabulous colleagues along the way. And I don't think I'll have any of those kinds of relationships. And plus, those kids were my pre-Kate children. So before having my own child, and I think I was invested in them emotionally much more than I am with my students now, just by virtue of the fact that I have my own child, and all those feelings go for her, rightly so. So when I think back to Merrick and Freddie and Savannah and Elion, and I love them. I feel very fortunate to have started at DAS and to have met the wonderful, kind, child-centered people that I met who really loved children and who were completely dedicated to making the lives of children as rich and as safe as they could. After that year, that first year where I was just so unhappy and thinking what the heck was I doing, and leaving my baby for the first time, going back to work full time, and it was not a happy year for me. So it was, but I've grown accustomed to it, and I like my school. But for these kids, they didn't have the language of conflict resolution. They didn't know how to talk beyond blaming, and so the beginning of the year, it's about trying to listen to what people need, being able to say what you actually need from the other person rather than blaming and looking and regurgitating all the past conflicts that they've had in the past. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I tend to talk to kids about problems that affect all of us in a whole group forum. And that's always interesting too, because it's nice to have all these philosophies, but then you have 35 personalities who need to be able to fit on a carpet and be able to listen to one another and not interrupt, and learn how to be respectful to one another. And varying levels of ability to speak about their feelings and speak in a respectful way about their perspectives and that kind of thing. So that's how I handle conflict. How I handle conflict in the general school population when I'm out on duty or in the halls and in the stairwell is that I'm fairly clear about what I expect, and respect is the big one for me, and being kind to one another and not walking through a doorway and letting the door slam in the person behind your face. And we don't have a lot of, similar to DAS, we don't have a lot of physical problems at our school, but there's exclusion there and that kind of thing that you deal with children all the time. So I often say you can't play, even though it is 430 students, that it's not okay for you to exclude somebody, but it happens. And I think what overwhelmed me the most was that where I could feel like at DAS that I could follow a problem through from beginning to end, and that everybody was invested in that, that if I want to follow a problem from beginning to end, something has to give. I can't leave a class of 35 students unattended while I deal with 2 students who are having a conflict. Where at DAS, I could say to somebody, could you cover my class because I need to work through this problem with these 2 kids. when I was having the girl issue at the very beginning of the year, there were other players from other classrooms. So I had to go and talk to their teachers about releasing them and how much time they would be willing to allow that for the problem to be rehashed and solved. Because one of the things at DAS was the problem isn't solved until everybody feels it is, and some people need a lot of time. What I find with kids that come to me is that I really have to spend a good 6 weeks integrating them into my set of expectations, because I want to get down to some fun learning and some creative interactions with them, but unless they have some ability to manage their own behavior and keep themselves organized and take responsibility for their own learning and how they interact with other people, that becomes impossible. So my indoctrination process is the first 6 weeks of school. And you know, you have to review with mathematics. When you ask, do they come? Well, sure, they've learned their skills. Mathematics is a building block. Language is a building block. But they come at you from all over the place. You have kids who are skilled in math, some strands of math, and not in others. And so it's all over the map. I hope that what I teach and what I believe and how I feel about children and parents and teachers working together is the right thing. But who knows? I mean, what's to say that a child coming out of my classroom gets a better education than a child coming out of somebody else's classroom? I think that they come out of my classroom thinking a little bit more, questioning a little bit more, feeling like they have a right to say what they don't like, knowing how to say what they don't like in a respectful way, feeling like they have power as human beings to make change in the world. They may not be better math students. I think I'm a pretty good math teacher, but I don't think I'm an exceptional math teacher. I don't think the kids coming out of my class are the best math students on the face of the earth. They're the best writers. But I can give them those skills in conjunction with what I think is a humane education as well. And also, I think that, you know, I bring my own personality to this deal. And I'm a strong-minded gal, and I have strong expectations of myself and of the kids that I teach, and they have to care about other people's feelings. They can't be selfish or self-centered, and that learning is an exciting adventure, and that if you don't get something, if you don't understand something, you have the right to say to your teacher, I don't understand this, and you need to help me.
Courtney!
What's 13 takeaways?
She did the same mistake as I did.
I think it would be less a positive experience as a teacher if you didn't go all the way for every kid.
Well, she did some mistakes.
Well, you don't want her to be too perfect, do you?
I like the fact that our kids, you know, sometimes I'm tired and I want to brush them off, but they don't let me. And I think that's good. I think it's important that they make sure that I hear them.